The girl who wouldn't leave the parking lot. Urban horror story. Sights of horror. It started with a knock on my car window, but when I looked up, nobody was there. This happened about 2 years ago when I was working nights at that Walmart over on Crenshaw. I was 29 then, doing stock overnight, trying to stack money and stay out of trouble. Night shift had its perks. No managers breathing down your neck, no long lines, no customers asking dumb questions about where the bread at. Just quiet. That kind of dead quiet where you can hear your own thoughts and honestly wish you couldn't. But that night, man, that peace didn't last long. It was around 2:45 in the morning when I stepped out for my smoke break. The parking lot was empty, wide and open like a graveyard for cars nobody loved. You ever notice how Walmart lights buzz like they tired of their own job? That constant hum, the flicker every few seconds, feels like the building itself wants to sleep but can't. Anyway, I was sitting in my car halfway through my Newport, scrolling my phone. Everything felt still. Then I heard it. Tap, tap, real soft, like fingernails against glass. At first I thought maybe it was a branch or a bug, but the sound came again, right on the driver's side window. Tap, tap. So I looked up, and she was just standing there. This girl, maybe 19, 20 tops, stood right in front of my car, dead center in the headlights. She had on a pink hoodie, the hood pulled up tight, jeans ripped at the knees, white shoes turned gray from the city dirt. But what threw me off was her face. She didn't look high, didn't look homeless. She just looked tired, like somebody who'd been crying for hours, but ran out of tears halfway through. I cracked the window a bit. "Yo, you good, lil' sis?" She just stared, not blinking. Then, soft as hell, she whispered, "Can you drive me home?" Now, I ain't dumb. You don't just let strangers in your car at 3 in the morning, especially not in L.A. Not these days. But there was something in her voice, a kind of fear you can't fake. I said, "Where you stay at?" She turned slow and pointed toward the back of the lot, past the garden center, behind the fence line. "Just over there." I frowned. "Ain't nothing back there, girl. That's the loading docks." Her bottom lip trembled. Then she whispered, "Please, he's still here." Man, when she said he, my skin tightened up, the air got heavy, even the buzzing lights seemed to go quiet for a second. I leaned out the window, looking around, didn't see nobody, just long shadows stretching across the asphalt. "You talking about somebody following you?" I asked. But she didn't answer. She just turned around and started walking fast toward that back fence. I called out, "Yo, wait!" But she didn't stop. I got out my car, jogged after her maybe 30, 40 yards tops, and she was gone. Just gone. The sound of my own shoes echoing off the pavement was the only thing moving. No gate creak, no footsteps, nothing. Just that flickering light overhead and the hum of electricity. I turned around, heart thumping, ready to head back inside when I saw him. There was a man standing by the garden center gate. Black hoodie, tall, broad shoulders. He wasn't walking, wasn't talking, just watching me. His hood was pulled low, but I could feel them eyes. You ever feel somebody looking at you before you even see 'em? That's what it felt like. I stepped back. "Yo, you good?" Nothing. Didn't flinch, didn't move. After a few seconds I said, "Aight, man," and backed off slow. Went straight inside. Inside, I told my coworker Dre what I saw. He laughed, said, "You been hitting that vape again, huh?" But when we went back out at 4 to grab another smoke, that's when I saw it, a pink hoodie, right in the middle of the lot, laid out neatly, like somebody ironed it, then laid it down on purpose. No dirt, no stains, just clean. We turned it in to security. Dude said he'd check the cameras. Next day he told me the footage showed me standing out there by myself talking to nobody. He even showed me the clip. And bro, he wasn't lying. It was just me sitting in my car, then stepping out and looking around like I lost something. No girl, no hoodie, no man. 2 weeks later, the news broke. They found a body behind that same Walmart. A girl, pink hoodie, said she'd been missing for 3 days before the night I saw her. Thing is, police said she'd been dead before that night, like a whole day before. That messed me up bad. I stopped taking breaks in the back after that. Didn't even park in the back no more. Sometimes, though, when I'm heading to my car after shift, I look toward that back fence, and every now and then I see something. Not the girl, him. Same black hoodie, same stillness, just standing there in that one dark patch where the lights don't reach, watching, like he never left, like he waiting for somebody else to look up when they hear that tap-tap on the window. So now, every night before I light my smoke, in the very front parking lot, I check my windows, and if I ever hear that knock again, I ain't looking up this time. These stories disappear fast, unless you keep them alive. Like it, comment it, and share it before it fades into the dark. See you again on the YouTube channel Sights of Horror. The Manager Who Wouldn't Clock Out, Urban Walmart Horror Story. It started when we found the blood on the register. This was at the Walmart off Chicago Avenue on the west side. I'd been assistant manager there for almost a year, which basically meant I did everything my boss didn't want to do, calming down angry customers, chasing down thieves, closing up while he sat in the back office managing. It wasn't a bad job, but it drained you. Late nights, weird customers, constant pressure, and the people who worked there, man, they came and went like ghosts. But Caden, he was different. He used to be the night manager, tall brother, mid-40s, always had a crisp shirt and a quiet kind of authority, the type who made you feel safe when things got tense. He'd been there longer than anybody. Then one day he just snapped. Corporate cut hours, started overworking people. Caden started taking it personal, like the store was his and they were disrespecting his home. He'd walk around muttering about how nobody appreciates loyalty anymore. He said the job was his family, that he didn't know who he was without it. Then one night he came in during his off shift, just sat in the break room for hours staring at the clock-in screen. Security had to walk him out. Week later, he got fired. That was 3 months ago. So this one Friday night, it was just me and Denise closing. Place was dead quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you notice the hum of the freezer section and the flicker of those cheap fluorescent lights. It was 12:40 a.m. Janitor was mopping by the entrance, slow, dragging that dirty gray water bucket behind him. Denise was counting her drawer when she stopped mid-sentence. Noah? Come look at this. I walked over, leaning on the counter. She pointed down at her register. There were dark red streaks across the edge of the metal. Not a lot, just a few smears. But you know how sometimes your stomach knows the truth before your mind catches up? That smell hit me. Metallic. Heavy. That wasn't ketchup. I grabbed some paper towels and wiped it off, but my hands started shaking. Denise looked like she wanted to clock out right then and there. Let's just check the cameras, I said. Maybe somebody cut themselves, that's all. We went into the back office, pulled up the security feeds, and that's when things got weird. Around 11:15 p.m., camera on aisle 12 picked up a figure. At first I thought it was just an old recording, one of the overnight stalkers maybe, but then I leaned closer and my chest got tight. It was Caden. He was walking slow down the aisle wearing his old blue vest, same one he used to wear when he worked there, but his face, it looked wrong. Not dead, not ghostly pale, just drained, like he hadn't slept or eaten in weeks. Eyes sunken, mouth tight. Man, what the hell is he doing here? Denise whispered. I rewound it. Same thing. 11:15 on the dot. Then I checked the door camera, the one by the front entrance. Nobody came in around that time. Doors were locked, alarm was armed. He couldn't have gotten in, but there he was, walking the aisle like it was another regular shift. I kept watching. At 11:17, he stopped right at register 3, Denise's register, and he leaned over like he was whispering to someone, but there was nobody there, just him and that register. I paused the footage. You see that? Denise backed up from the monitor. He said something strange when they let him go, she muttered. I turned to her. What you mean? When they let him go, she said quietly. He told the store manager. I ain't leaving. This place mine. I built this. I'll never clock out. Now my palms were sweating. I told her we should go check aisle 12 just to prove it was all in our heads. So we walked out there past the empty registers, lights flickering overhead like they were struggling to stay awake. Aisle 12 was clean, just some stacked pallets of bottled water, cleaning supplies, and the faint smell of bleach. Nothing. But as we turned to walk back, the store intercom crackled. That old fuzzy speaker buzzed overhead. "Attention Walmart associates." Then silence. Then, "Carter, please report to management." For 1.5 seconds we froze. That voice that wasn't me, it wasn't Denise, it was him. The same tone, the same slow way he used to say things when he was checking the clock-in sheet. It was Caden. We both ran back to the office, locked the door. I called security. They said nobody else was in the building. We checked the cameras again. Everything from 11:15 to 11:45 was static, blank. Only one frame got saved. It showed Caden standing behind register 3, looking straight at the camera. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't angry, just empty. Corporate came in the next week, tried to keep it quiet, but word spread fast. Turns out Caden had taken his own life in his car a few days before that night, in that same Walmart parking lot. Security found him early Monday morning, sitting in the driver's seat, Walmart apron still on, name tag still pinned. They kept it quiet for unknown reasons. Later that week, they did a small memorial for him by the break room, a framed picture, a candle, and a little Walmart badge somebody put next to it. HR sent out a statement about mental health resources and support for staff, but everybody knew nobody was going to talk about what we saw on those cameras, and what we saw was freaking Caden days after his death. Denise quit a week later, said she couldn't handle closing shifts no more. I stayed. Bills don't stop just 'cause you scared. But every night since, around 11:15, register 3 shuts off, lights dim just for half a second, and the intercom clicks on. You'll hear static, then a breath, slow, heavy, like somebody standing right behind the mic. They say Caden couldn't survive without that job, and maybe he didn't. Maybe he's still here walking the aisles, checking drawers, making sure his store runs right. Me, I just keep my head down, never close alone, and I try to make sure I'm long gone before 11:15, but it doesn't always work out that way, 'cause if Caden really never clocked out, then somebody else might be next to punch in. Think you've seen it all in your city? Think again. Subscribe to the YouTube channel Sites of Horror, where every block has a secret and every night has a story. That night in the employee locker room. Urban horror at Walmart 87th. It hit me the second I walked in, that sharp, sour smell, rotten and metallic like rusted pennies mixed with stale water, the kind of smell that makes you wrinkle your nose and check if you're really alone. You ever walk into a room and feel something before you even understand what it is, like your skin prickles and your gut tells you to turn around, but you keep moving forward anyway? That's what it was like that night. Every step felt heavier, like the air itself was warning me. I was working overnight maintenance at the Walmart on 87th, the graveyard shift, where the world outside feels a million miles away. The one with the parking lot that never sleeps, cars rolling in and out, even at 2 a.m., headlights sweeping across the asphalt like restless eyes, people arguing by the carts, sirens humming way off in the distance. There's always some kind of drama, even when the store is supposed to be closed. You'd think that kind of noise would make you feel safe, but nah. If anything, it just reminds you how alone you really are inside. It just makes the silence that follows feel heavier, like the world is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. And if you ever worked maintenance, you know exactly what I mean when I say the back hallway, the one behind the employee locker, stays creepy as hell. It's the kind of place you avoid unless you have to go in. Bare concrete walls, no windows, that one flickering fluorescent light that buzzes like a dying fly. Every shadow seems to move when you're not looking, and the hum from the freezer fans upstairs sounds like somebody breathing down your neck. It's enough to make you wish you'd called in sick. That night, it was just me and two other guys, Darius and Jamal. The store was dead quiet, the kind of silence that makes every little sound echo. The hum of the vending machine, the distant clatter of a mop bucket, even the buzz of the fluorescent lights overhead felt louder than usual. We were the only ones left, each of us with our own late-night chores. Darius was on bathroom duty, scrubbing tiles and emptying trash cans. Jamal was restocking the janitor closet, making sure we had enough paper towels and cleaning sprays for the next shift. Everyone kept to themselves, heads down, just trying to get through the night. I was supposed to mop down the back area near the receiving dock. It was around 3 a.m. when I went to grab the mop bucket from the locker room. The hallways felt longer at that hour, shadows stretching across the floor, making the place feel almost haunted. The second I cracked that door open, that smell hit me again, rotten, metallic like blood left in old rainwater. It was thick in the air, clinging to the back of my throat, making me gag a little. I stopped dead. I figured maybe somebody forgot their lunch in there again. Happens all the time. Folks bring leftovers, then forget 'em over the weekend. The smell usually gets pretty bad, but this was something else, something heavier. But the closer I walked toward the lockers, the stronger it got. That's when I saw it. Jamal's locker was cracked open, just enough for the smell to seep out and fill the whole room. My heart started pounding as I stepped closer, not sure what I was about to find. Now Jamal was cool. Everybody liked him. He was the kind of guy who could walk into a room and instantly make everyone feel at ease, no matter how rough the shift was going. Always had a joke ready, always talking about his little girl, showing off pictures of her latest drawing or telling stories about her silly questions. He'd stay late sometimes just to help the new hires get settled, making sure they knew where everything was and felt welcome. But lately, he'd been different. Something had changed. Quiet, nervous, like somebody'd been watching him, or like he was carrying a weight he couldn't talk about. He'd come in with bags under his eyes, hands shaking when he clocked in, like he hadn't slept in days. You could see the exhaustion written all over his face. I asked if he was good, but he just said, "I'm fine, bro, just tired." He tried to smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. That night, though, his locker looked wrong. The door hung open like someone left in a hurry or forgot to close it. Inside, his work boots were still on the floor. His vest folded sloppy, not like Jamal at all. He was always neat. Gloves on top, half-empty Gatorade bottle from yesterday sitting there, warm and flat like it had been untouched for hours, but tucked in the corner was a small clear plastic bag. Inside were his car keys and his wallet, like he'd meant to come back, but never did. Now anybody who's ever worked a night shift knows you don't leave your wallet behind, ever. That's when my chest got tight. I backed up slow and walked straight to the camera room. I pulled up the security feed for that hallway. But guess what? The camera was frozen. The timestamp said 2:14 a.m., same exact time I started mopping the back area. I told the night manager this old dude named Cliff, but he barely looked up from his coffee. "Probably just some homeless guy sneaking around again," he said. Man, no homeless dude's gonna sneak in, open one locker and leave somebody's wallet behind, but you can't tell them managers nothing. When the day crew came in, we noticed Jamal's car was still parked out back, still locked, his phone sitting right there on the passenger seat. That's when Cliff finally called the cops. They searched the store, the docks, even behind the dumpsters. Didn't find much, but they did find drag marks by the loading dock, long ones, like somebody had been pulled. No blood, no prints, just marks on the ground that led to nowhere. Weeks went by, posters went up, corporate told us not to talk to reporters, but, word travels. We all knew something bad happened. You could feel it. Every night around 3 a.m., that same smell came back rotten, metallic, leaking out from that locker room like the air itself remembered. And every time I walked past, I'd get that heavy feeling in my stomach, like I wasn't supposed to be there. Then came that Friday night. I was the only one in the back, restocking paper towels. The store was quiet, lights humming low. That's when I heard it. Bang. It came from inside the locker room. I froze, then again, bang, and again, rhythmic, steady, like somebody punching metal from the inside. I yelled out, "Yo, who's there?" It stopped. Silence, then one soft thump, like a heartbeat against the locker door. I backed away, slow, my throat dry, my hand on the mop handle like it could actually protect me. I stood there for maybe a full minute before walking off. I ain't opening nothing. I ain't that brave. Next night I came back to check. No smell, no sound. Jamal's locker empty. Name tag gone. It looked like it had never been touched. I tried to shake it off, told myself maybe somebody cleaned it out overnight, but then when I clocked out that morning and my name tag wasn't on my vest, I placed my vest in my locker. Then I checked everywhere for my name tag, cart, even my car, nothing. Later that day, the assistant manager called me back to the store, said they found something weird. He handed me a small plastic bag. Inside was my name tag, a crumpled Walmart vest, and a note, "You're next." I didn't even have to ask. It was found in Jamal's locker, which was freaking empty when I left. I quit right then and there, never went back, but sometimes when I drive past that Walmart on 87th, I still catch that smell, rotten, metallic, like pennies in old water, and every time I think about Jamal's locker door, still cracked open, just enough to see your own reflection in the dark. This story gave me chills. What about you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love true horror, please hit that subscribe button. New nightmares drop every week on the YouTube channel Sites of Horror.